Yo, right here. Right here in the small box. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let's lock in. We got a job to do. Y'all see the thumbnail to this video. So, shoot, let's go ahead and get started. K-pop is Black Culture by Jane Lee Music. So, I've been following this Instagram account for a while. I've been also following Demiza and Ray Daniels. If y'all are familiar with Demiza, at least I've done reactions to some of his reels before. That's a music exec, right? All these people that we're dealing with, they're an executive in their own lane, and they're sharing information with the public, with the consumer, for them to learn. Which goes to my point that I was making yesterday, talking about how the consumer needs to evolve as well. Because of what's going on in the music industry, how they're including AI music into the mix. We've been listening to a lot of music that's been conditioning us to like trash music. So it's gotten to a point where it's like, when we get the conscious ish, we see it as boring. But now that that side of music is damn near out of here, club culture's dying, the party scene is kind of looking shaky. The music needs to evolve. And if the music needs to evolve, that means the consumer needs to evolve as well. So, looking at this, when I see a title as crazy as K-pop is Black Culture, I'm like, okay, now we got to do something about this. We got to take this and we got to bring it to YouTube. That makes perfect sense right there. There's no way we got something as controversial as that, and that's not on YouTube, where we have all of the mess. Right? So, like I said in Discord, this might ruffle some feathers. But I'm not here for drama. I'm here to speak on what's going on. That's it. If your heart is light and your heart is weak, step to the side over there. You know? Take your lane. Your lane right there. Take that door. Go through it. But remember, this is strictly for entertainment purposes. Don't forget that part. Now, I feel like before we get started here, I wanted to read this little article from this website called From Classical to Rock.com, where they had a short little paragraph about Jane Lee. So we can kind of see what her background is, so that when we listen to this, we get an understanding of what's going on, all right? So before I get started, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now. And look, let's go ahead and get started, bro. Let me just start by reading this, and then we're going to start listening to the reels, all right? Let's go. Jane Lee is a singer, pianist, and educator based in Los Angeles, California. At a young age of 3, her piano teacher realized that she had perfect pitch. That's crazy. By the time she was 14, she had won numerous national and international piano awards. She was the recipient of an Concerto Award, the UCR Chancellor's Award, and the Bank of America Musician of the Year Award. That Bank of America Musician of the Year Award is crazy, to name a few. When she was 19, she was signed to Sony Korea as a singer/songwriter. As a Sony solo artist, she toured all of Asia, performed on national television, and was featured artist on the FIFA World Cup album for Korea and Japan. Jane also shares many of her piano covers on YouTube, which totals close to 5 million hits. Currently, Jane is an executive director at Hills Academy of Music, Art and Dance, and the executive director of the nonprofit organization Musical Miracles. She is currently working with more than 1,000 students as an educator and continues to provide excellent music education all over South Bay. All right. Already, like, I'm seeing the credentials, the awards. I'm understanding who we're dealing with, so that when we get to the first reel, which is 6 tips from K-pop ecosystem, I can't help to have my ears open, bro. Like, I gotta listen now, because we're dealing with somebody she's important in her space. So let's go ahead and get started. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's go.
K-pop is not winning because of money. It's winning because of systems in place. And this is why this is important to you. Let me talk about this, indie babies. First, K-pop artists train for years and years and years before a debut.
Already, we're starting off with something crazy. So the idea of a K-pop idol, a K-pop star, before they even step into music, they got to train for multiple years before their actual debut. So already when they debut, they're debuting at their best. Already that process weeds out trash music. That is literally crazy. And the funniest part about that, if you go back to the past, if you go back to like maybe like the 70s, 60s, coming up to the 90s, when you realize that a lot of background singers and background vocalists were there in front of the main star, that's technically their training. In North America, that's technically musical training for some of the artists that came from that background of being a background vocalist, regardless of where they go. So already I'm hearing something crazy. Let's keep going.
Vocals, dance, performance, stage presence, how to interview, branding, etc. They treat artist development like it's a job because it should be. Yourself, this mindset of training, having a daily training mindset. Second, K-pop doesn't just drop songs. Hey guys, out now. No, they drop universes. They build worlds. So how do they do this? Reality shows, vlogs, dance practices, behind the scenes, live streams, because fans feel like they're inside. Proximity is the key. Third, K-pop.
So what she just explained is pretty much like, that's pretty much like building an ecosystem. So first, like I think, okay, if I'm correct, there are 4 things you need to learn as an artist before you can fly. You need to first learn your identity. Then from your identity, you got to learn your character. So now that you got an understanding of who you are, you got to build that character from what you know about yourself. So basically, you planting a seed. Now that seed is starting to grow. Now we're at the point where that seed is going to sprout and spread its wings, right? From that point, now you're building an ecosystem around that character, right? So you're building a fan base from all this training, because you nowadays in today's world, you can't train behind the scenes no more. We got to see you train now. That's why we have live streams like here. So think about that. And then from after the ecosystem, that's when you start to drop. That's when you start to put yourself out there. And that's pretty much putting music out there. So just hearing that, I'm just like, yo, these people over there in the K-pop world, that's crazy.
Pop fandoms are not just listeners. They're participants. They're a part of the community.
All right, Tiny, take care.
The armies, blinks, ones, they have rituals, they have tasks, they have identities. They're organized because they feel like they belong. 4, K-pop artists build visual worlds. Every era has a color palette. It has a vibe. It has a mood. It has a look. It's not just some random thing. It's psychology. It creates instant recognition. 5, K-pop wins because they understand intimacy at scale. Fan calls, live streams, behind the scene voice notes. Fans feel close. Talk to your audience daily. Respond to the damn comments. 6, K-pop did not build a business dependent on streaming. Physical albums, photo cards, merch, fan events. And you know what K-pop teaches us? It's not that they beat the Western style of music. It's exposing that most artists have no system. We have no consistency and we have no community building. If you want to win in 2026, you need to start building systems, rituals, training, world building, and community, because the real secret is this, okay? Listen up. K-pop engineered loyalty. And loyalty is the only currency that will survive the next decade of the music industry. K-pop is...
I ain't gonna lie, this woman spitting. This girl Jane be spitting. Let me tell you that right now. How the hell she just exposed about 3/4 of the rap game today? How she do that? How she do that in one reel? That's crazy. She out here simply just laying out a couple steps and then just simultaneously just shot at literally every rapper that don't get it right. How do you do that? And you know what? I'm not even sitting here like surprised or anything. I'm just like, that's what happens when you're not knowledgeable. That's simply it. You got to understand, in this music business, in this music industry, if you don't have something that you can stand on, brother, you finna fall. I'm going to tell you that right now. None of us can fly. Okay, we can walk. Okay, that's why they made stairs, so we can walk upstairs. That's called elevation. My point is, we don't fly, we can walk. Okay, if you're flying, that means it's not real. Message. Going into the shadow mob for a bit. I'm writing some bars. Yo, do what you gotta do, bro. Do what you gotta do, but just pay attention to the details and everything that she's saying. This is going to be a serious one. So pretty much with this reel, we just kicked down the door. Now we're going to move into the main event right here, which is K-pop is black culture. So let's get started. And by the way, this reel for her has 1.5 million views on it. 1.5 million people watched this. This reel went viral, so this one's important. Let's go.
Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I'm Korean American. I was born here in the States. But let's talk about, this is not a complicated conversation, okay? K-pop is not some isolated cultural phenomenon. It's black music and black culture. A lot of you guys have been DMing me, what do you think about K-pop? So I'm addressing it right now. It is black R&B, hip-hop, pop, systemized through a Korean entertainment industry machine. Not an opinion, it's facts, okay? It's history. Let me take you to the very first K-pop group ever in 1992 called Seo and Boys, Seo Idol. If you listen to their songs, you can probably name the songs they copied. I'm gonna play for you one of their songs called Come Back Home, okay? You tell me what song it is.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
Now, I know Cypress Hill is more of a Latino, right, American hip-hop group, but what I'm trying to explain to you is that that's what they did from the very beginning.
But what if that's the play? What if we don't take from here because it might not be received well over here? So let's go over here, take this, and use it here. People know this, and people like this. But over here on this side of the world, a lot of people don't know. We listen to the same thing. You got to think about it from back in the day. It's so hard to get your music overseas, especially since the only way to do it is probably through the radio, and you got good luck getting that station. Let me say that, good luck getting that station. You'd have to physically fly something over to the other side of the world so they can hear it, they can love it, and they can do something with it. Do you understand that? That's a process that will piss us off today. Holy shit.
So from the very beginning, from the very first K-pop group ever, okay, it was ambiguous, it was borrowed, it was stolen. And the framework still remains today. We have the 808s, we have the syncopation, we have the hi-hats, we have the melismas, we have the call and response, we have all of the things that black music, it's black music. And I'd also like to add that most of the K-pop hits now are being written by black writers and produced by black producers. It's not just the sound, right? Because it's the culture, it's the mannerisms, it's the hair, it's the fashion, it's the choreography, it's the slang, it's
all the pillars of hip hop, mind you.
It's all of the things that it's taken from black culture. It did not come from Korean traditional culture. This is where I get uncomfortable talking about this, but here I am, okay? Black artists were historically marginalized. They were penalized. They were excluded because of these very things. And yet when it comes from K-pop, it's globally accepted and it's even rewarded. What is that? That's not influence. That's racism. And as a Korean American woman working in the music industry, I want to tell Korea, like, do better. Grow up in this conversation, right? If you want to steal, if you want to take, if you're claiming that it's borrowed inspiration, then at least respect the source, at least credit it visibly. And also, let's evolve beyond imitation. Let's evolve, because it's giving cultural appropriation, not respect. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I'm Korean.
Yo, the way that a lot of so watch this now. Let me take it one more step further. Let's get dark for a second. Not like that. Don't do that. All right, not like that. When we do it, it's a problem. But when they do it, it's adorable. I went there. Think about it. From what? From 2015. We'll say about the past decade or so. So from 2015 up to 2025, the latest, but we can take it back around 2023 before the beef. So from 2025 to at least 2023, so about 8 years. Think about all that music we've gotten in that. Think about all the music pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, music from the party scene, evolving to the turn-up scene. Think about all that music that we've gotten throughout the pandemic and post the pandemic, how the industry was looking kind of weird and a little shaky around that time. Just think about the images, think about the imagery that you would see from some of the rap artists from that time period, and think about the themes and the content matter within the music that we like to turn up to, because keep in mind, that's the turn up era, right? So think about the Lil Babies, think about the Baby, think about Lil Durk, G Herbo, think about all these different individuals that we were getting rap music from. A common theme coming from these individuals is that they about that gang shit. Okay, they about that gang-ish. Let's make that clear right now. So consider that and how dangerous that could be and how destructive that can be. But if you take the same idea, if you take the same concept, bring it across the world and over on this side, now it looks fun. Now it looks entertaining. Now it looks like a character. Now it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do, but in an environment and in a space where people are actually taking the music seriously. Which goes back to what I said. When we do it, it's a problem, but when they do it, it's adorable. But don't get twisted in the words that I just said. When we do it, it's a problem. Let's make that clear right now. It's not a problem, okay? It's an issue. Let's make that clear for a second. From what the average consumer sees this as, it's a problem. But from the culture standpoint, we always saw that as an issue. The music that they put out brought about the violence people love to talk about, the tea people like to deal with, the negativity we just love to dwell in. But take it and throw it over there, it's doing what it needs to do for the sake of music. But because their system is better than the system we have over here, then it makes perfect sense. God damn, now I'm going to sound like NK because at that point it's a systematic God. Yo, somebody call NK real quick. Now it's a systematic problem. Oh, my Jesus. Anyway, let's get into the second one, bro. So, K-pop is black culture, part dos. Let's go.
To our regular scheduled program. Just kidding. Did you think your threats and your comments are gonna make me stop talking about this? Because that's gonna just move on to the next topic. You're making me want to double down. Your comments and your threats all circle around the same bullshit explanation about how K-pop has adopted Western culture and made it their own, okay? So adopting a child, let's just think about this class, okay? Adopting a child means you take a child, you bring them into your home, give them a better life, right? You feed them, you love them, and you make them a part of your family. And is that what you think happened? We're gonna go back to class. Are you ready? Another first generation K-pop idol, his name was Yoo-seung-jun, Steve Yoo. He was the biggest star in Korea at that time, in the 90s. I'm extremely embarrassed to play this for you, but you know, it's for context, okay? So I apologize beforehand.
West Side! From the motherfucking West.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? What the hell was that? What on God's given earth was that? What did I just hear? Are you serious right now? Bro, what was that? What the Yo, what the hell was that, bro? What the hell was that?
I'm from the West, I feel like God. Do what now?
Brother, I ain't gonna lie to you. You on the East. Brother, you got to get your geography right, bro. You can't be shouting out the West Side and you all the way on the East Side. Brother, brother, you are on the wrong land to be doing that.
Recognize who you fucking with and who you're dealing with. West Side till I die, nigga. Now.
In the song,
Say swear. Yo, the issue is on Instagram, I can't replay. Say swear to God. Say swear. Yo, hold on. Say swear. Yo, say swear. Yo, hold on a sec. Yo, hold on. Yo, swear to God. Yo, swear to God. Yo, swear down. Or swear up. Yo, say it again. Are you serious? What? What? Are you kidding me right now?
he says the N-word 7 times. Is that adopting the Western culture? Now, before you say it's an isolated incident, it's a long time ago, okay? I want to tell you that this came out on Spotify in 2014 on his best album. Also, if you need more examples, I'll make more videos for you. First of all, he's talking about West Side, and then that picture that I posted, he's wearing a New York Yankees hat. And then the second thing is we don't have any guns in Korea, so...
Bro, how you in a New York Yankees hat? You looking like 50 Cent with the brim brought down, but you want to yell out West Side and say nigga. Oh, nah. Oh, nah. Oh, nah.
And he's talking about shooting people. I don't know. Which executives okayed that? Who spoke out against it? And also for people who are saying that, oh, it doesn't happen anymore. We've evolved past that. This is 2025.
그래서 또 해! 마음에 안 들어? 또 해! 자꾸 우리 그럼 맞지 않냐? Let's party! Look at me. No, I'm talking about me flirting with my man.
Historically, nobody has done anything.
Yo, my gal, what you know about my man? And then you're working chopsticks. Yo, yo, make it make sense. And listen, yo, hey, let me make this clear. Yo, for the people that know me, you know that when I'm right here, that you understand. Okay, y'all understand the list. For the people that know my list, you already know what time it is. You know what's number 2. So let's get that out the way. We're here for music. Let's make that clear, okay? Get back up.
Until the public uproars and they have to issue an apology. And think about this, if you're in the music industry, you understand that every song, every concept, every outfit, every live broadcast, it passes through layers of control. Labels, producers, stylists, broadcasters, managers, and no one stopped any of this from happening? Are we dumb? Or are we... So for those of you guys who are saying it's adoption, you need to check yourself and tell me if that's adoption, if that's appreciating a culture. It looks like something else to me. And we're back to our regular schedule.
Oh no, that's appropriation. That is appropriate. That is appropriation and beyond. Like, that's like you taking the racism, and then you gonna evolve it, or you're gonna go from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 talking about its appropriation. And now you're going to go even further beyond and then go to Super Saiyan 3 with this shit. Yo, this is mad. This is crazy. But I've noticed, if we're going to be real, and she talked about it already, from all the aspects, from all the elements, the variables that comes from hip hop. Look at every pillar of hip hop. It's there to study. A lot of people are studying this. Let's keep it tall right now. That's the only reason why hip hop is all around the world. Other people have studied this. Other people have understood this to a sense. Some people get it. Some people don't. That's cool. But what you need to understand is that because people are studying this idea, for the people that failed the class, this is what we get. But for the individuals that understand, we get good music from them, right? Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, this is all about music. This is not about drama. Let's make it clear right now. You can throw drama into it, but let's keep it real. This is all about music. Okay? I'm looking at all the aspects and variables of hip hop culture, hip hop music, and then we're looking at how it's working somewhere else. But when you come here, it's not working, which is why we've been consistently going through different shifts. And you know what? Rightfully so, because we're not going to keep the same sound forever. Pretty much every decade before 2025 or before the pandemic, we've always been going through some sort of change in music every decade. Let's be real. Every decade we got something different. We've gotten something new. Music has advanced forward. Think about when you go from the 50s to the 60s, 60s to the 70s, 70s to the 80s, 80s to the 90s, 90s to the 2000s, 2000 to 2010. We could say 2020, but we had a little issue. So music kind of took a halt. And now in 2025, in big 2025, we had to wait 15 years for another shift, which was very overdue, which is what we're finally going through now. But we're kind of stuck because it shouldn't have been taking this long. That's pretty much the timeline for music going back to the 1950s. The problem is that a lot of people got too comfortable with the sound from the 2010s going to 2020 at least. Right? A lot of people got too comfortable with that. We had the party era. The party era evolved into the turn-up era. And the turn-up era, pretty much evolved into what we see in the clubs, or what we see on our phones when we see other people partying, right? Like, we've been evolving through the party era to this point. And since this battle, now music is demanding another shift because we went back to what's authentic. The authenticity is the reason why we're moving forward in music. Let's make that clear right now. But looking at this, how K-pop is pretty much black culture, I'm not mad. I find it actually very interesting that other people around the world is imitating what we do naturally. You know, y'all are putting on a mask. Y'all are Y'all are playing a role. Y'all are being a character. But you're taking that character and applying it to a system that works. That's the main thing. That's the reason why I'm here. That's mainly the reason why I'm here. The system over there works. Why can't we implement that here to be great? Now, does it have to take years upon years, about 5 years, to break out this one artist? No. Because we can speed run that. Because of how we have all this different tech, all these different applications available to use, we could speed run the artist development program so we can have proper artists. At the end of the day, they still have to go out there to perform and learn and experience that. You can't learn that in a development program. So consider that. But the fact that it works there and it doesn't work here, that means we got to change something here. If we want more outstanding artists, regardless of what genre they're in, something's got to change. And the best time to talk about change is right now, since we're changing in general, right? We want authenticity, but we want it remixed. Even though we want it to sound like this, we got to keep in mind we're moving forward in time. We got to consider the younger generation and mix it into the authenticity to make something new. So the product that comes for that is going to be the answer for the next decade. You got to consider that, right? Man said capitalism. Ain't not wrong. But just listening to what she said, thinking about what she said, I'm looking at this way different now. And remember what I've been talking about when it comes to Canada. I see a great big opportunity for Canada to be ahead of the system, to be ahead of everything. But if they're not going to do anything during the one time period where we need to figure this out, then we're going to miss out on one of the biggest opportunities in all of music. And that's for us to stand on something and represent something so that we can actually produce quality music. This opportunity that Canadians have, that Torontonians have, is one of the literal greatest opportunities, but we need to unlearn what we know. Y'all know me already. I'm going to talk about getting rid of that auto-tune. Let me keep it tall with you. Y'all know me already. I'm fed up with the auto-tune around here because we're not using it right. There's only a small select artists around here. One of them is Forever Friday. He's using it correctly. Because of this, he's on a similar wave as Travis Scott, but it's not as heavy as Travis Scott. Right? Use it in moderation. It works for him. That's why I listen to his music, because it works. When I listen to a song and I hear it, it makes sense. So I get it. It's a tool, not a crutch. He's using it as a tool. So I can appreciate and respect it. So, in all honesty, I'm not surprised. If I'm going to be real, I'm not surprised at all. We see this. We all have phones. We all have access. We all are on the same internet. We're just not searching and looking for things like this. Me bringing this to YouTube, this is bringing it to the forefront. We're bringing a moment that broke down what's going on into an important conversation over here. And I believe this conversation is actually very substantial, especially for the average artist. Because the fact that you can learn from this based on an issue that's going on in music, then hey, learn away. Because a lot of us got to course correct. Let's make that clear. A lot of us got to course correct around here, bro. It's getting strange out here, bro. How we have all this music and it's not working because the system got to change, bro. You got to change the system in music so they can still do what they need to do behind the scenes and in them chairs. And we can do what we need to do as artists, and that's produce quality music. Not just throw music out there. Let's get that idea out. All right? Just throwing anything out there doesn't work anymore, Aubrey. Like, let's be real right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit there and think, I got to keep dropping. I got to keep making. No. We're done with that. That was the practice. For you constantly putting out all these different beats in record time, that's practice. That's literally the practice stage. Now we're in the practical stage. We're on the field. We're in the environment that we studied for. We should be able to perform properly now. That's for the producers. Same when we go over to the rappers and the artists and the singers. Y'all been dropping songs for how many times in a year, how many times in a month or in a couple months. That's the practice. We're in the practical stage now. Now that you got your practice and you throw out all these different songs, what kind of proper song can you make based on everything that you made in the past? Because even though you did all this music, now we're in a different stage of music. What are you going to do now with all that practice you've done? That's it. I'm telling you. When I'm saying shit about this music ish, I'm not playing. I am not playing at all. And I know for a fact a lot of people are probably not going to watch this video, and that's cool with me. But I know I'm touching on something important here. And that's the advancement of music. I don't see a lot of people talking about that out there. You know? Y'all know me already, though. The amount of reels and the amount of clips that's going to come out of this is going to be crazy. That's a fact. But we're getting to the nitty-gritty right here. We're getting to the bones of the situation. Pause in any kind of way. But with what's going on in music right now, if none of us do anything, even as consumers, we're going to have a bigger problem than we realize. Because like I said, the consumer needs to evolve as well. If the consumer cannot stand up and literally do better as consumers, because your job is not just to listen. It's also to engage now. And a lot of people don't realize that you have the ability to reach out to an artist, regardless if they comment or not. They're going to see something. Are they going to see every comment? No. But they're going to see something that we say as consumers, and they're going to take it into consideration. That means the consumer is assisting the artist into doing something that's going to make them better, allegedly. Absolutely why I pay K-pop. K-pop does. Hey, bro, I respect it. I respect it because I'm not here to disrespect K-pop. Let me just make that clear as well. I'm here to look at what they're doing over here and then seeing what we can do over here with that idea, because it's clearly working there. They're clearly producing superstars there to the point where they're global. Think about it. We had a Blackpink run. I don't know none of the aside from BTS. I don't know much of the male groups, but we had Blackpink, we had BTS. The one girl, Lisa. Girl went solo on some Beyonce-ish. That's literally Beyonce all over again. Girl went solo from her group and then proceeded to come over here to dominate. Didn't she have a song with Bruno Mars? Or was that another girl? I'm not familiar with the K-pop scene. I don't know the specific names, but I'm paying attention to what I'm hearing out there. Just think about it. The little features, the little songs here and there. And then they have their moment on stage. Wasn't Lisa at Rolling Loud? You had Lisa from all the way on the other side of the world come all the way on this side of the world to perform at Rolling Loud. Do you understand how substantial that is to her career? Just think about that. Why does it work there, but it doesn't work here? And how do we fix that? That's it. I told y'all this was going to be good. I told y'all this one was going to be a good one. Promise you. And we did what we needed to do. We got down to it. Now when y'all watch this back, you're like, wait a minute. Hey, bro, over at the Flexion My Network, this is what we do. This is what we do. We're going to have our fun. If you watch the first hour, 30 minutes of this stream, we're going to have our fun, especially today. But when it comes down to breaking things down and understanding what's going on and also keeping the music, then you're going to understand why we got the people pulling up here to watch what we do and see what we go through and tap in with us every now and then. So this is what we do over here for real. You know, if I don't got a topic, I'm going to find a topic. And boy, I found a topic. Let me say that. Holy crap. This was a crazy one. Ugh. Anyway.